Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into the world of Virgo?
Always up for an astrological adventure.
We're going way beyond those typical Virgo stereotypes.
Yeah, like just being organized.
Exactly, we're going to uncover what really makes this sign tick.
Using this awesome article as our guide.
Oh yeah, it's called Virgo Traits, Compatibility, and March 2025 Predictions. Super interesting stuff.
It's got that practical vibe that Virgos love.
Totally. And it's perfect for anyone who wants to understand Virgos better.
Like those Virgos in your life.
Yeah, whether it's friends, family, or maybe even yourself.
We'll be breaking down their strength, their best matches.
And even what March 2025 has in store for them.
Yeah.
Especially that Venus retrograde.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
So let's get started. What makes Virgos so unique? What are those defining characteristics?
Well, Virgos are ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect.
So that explains their analytical minds.
Precisely. They are naturally drawn to details and always looking for ways to improve things.
It's like they have a built-in editor for life.
Huh? Yeah, constantly spotting inconsistencies and finding the most efficient solutions.
So that whole overthinking stereotype, maybe it's just their Mercury-ruled brains working overtime.
It's not always worry. It's often about processing information and seeking clarity.
Makes sense. So how does this analytical energy play out in relationships?
It definitely influences how they connect with others. Virgos value authenticity and clear communication.
And they probably appreciate people who are on the same wavelength when it comes to personal growth.
Absolutely. Let's look at some signs that vibe well with Virgo, starting with Taurus, another earth sign.
Oh, so they share that grounded, practical energy.
Exactly. Taurus and Virgo often enjoy a shared appreciation for the finer things in life. Stability is key for both of them.
Makes sense. It's like building a solid foundation together. What other signs are a good match?
Capricorn is an excellent match. This pairing is all about ambition and achieving goals.
Oh, wow. So it's a power couple in the making.
Absolutely. They support each other's dreams and work together to make things happen.
Mutual respect and a shared drive to succeed. That's amazing. Any signs that bring out a different side of Virgo?
Definitely. Cancer, a water sign, might seem like an unexpected match.
Yeah, earth and water. How does that work?
Cancer's emotional depth can actually help Virgo connect with their own feelings and create a safe space for vulnerability.
So it's about balanced logic and intuition, practicality, and nurturing care.
Precisely. Now, another interesting pairing is Virgo and Scorpio.
Scorpio, that's an intense sign.
It is, but they share a love of deep conversations and exploring hidden meanings.
Sounds like a bond that's both intellectually stimulating and emotionally fulfilling.
It is. But now let's talk about the signs that might clash a bit with Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius.
Why are those pairings potentially challenging?
Well, Gemini's energy can feel scattered to a Virgo who craves stability.
So that carefree, go-with-the-flow attitude might not always mesh well with Virgo's need for structure.
Exactly. And while Sagittarius' adventurous spirit is inspiring, their impulsiveness can clash with Virgo's careful planning.
Right, because Virgos like to think things through. So it's not that these signs are inherently incompatible, but it might take more effort.
It's about seeing those differences as opportunities for growth.
I like that. Okay, so we've explored Virgo's core traits and relationship dynamics. Now let's talk about March 2025.
The month where things get interesting.
Especially with Venus going retrograde.
Before we dive into specifics, it's good to understand what retrograde actually means.
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with astrology lingo.
Basically, it means the planet appears to be moving backwards from our view here on Earth.
Okay, so it's an optical illusion.
Right, and astrologically, it often signals a time for revisiting the past, reevaluating and realigning.
So like hitting the pause button to reflect and recalibrate.
Exactly. For Virgos, Venus will be retrograde in Aries, ruling their 8th house.
The 8th house, what does that represent again?
Intimacy, transformation, and shared resources.
Ooh. So March might bring up themes related to deep emotional bonds and maybe even financial matters.
It's not necessarily about dramatic events, but rather subtle shifts in perspective and deeper self-awareness.
Okay, so inner transformation rather than external chaos.
Right. Venus retrograde encourages us to examine our desires and motivations to make sure our relationships align with our values.
I can see how that aligns with Virgo's desire for self-improvement and seeking deeper meaning.
Now, Venus isn't the only planet influencing Virgo's journey in March. We also have Mars in Cancer energizing their 11th house.
The 11th house. That's about friendship, social networks, right?
Yes. So March might also be a time for connecting with like-minded people, pursuing those aspirations that have been on hold.
So it's a blend of introspection and social engagement.
Precisely. And let's not forget about Mercury, Virgo's ruling planet. In early March, Mercury will be in Pisces.
Which rules their 7th house of partnerships and one-on-one relationships.
Exactly. Communication will be key, especially in matters of the heart.
So early March sounds pretty significant for Virgos. What are some key things they should keep in mind? Okay, so Venus retrograde is stirring things up for Virgo in that intimacy zone. Mars in Cancer is energizing their social life. And Mercury in Pisces highlights communication, especially in relationships.
It is a lot to juggle, but Virgos can totally handle that.
Right, they're masters of organization and analysis. This article calls March a fine-tuning month for Virgos.
Love that description. Like they're taking this cosmic energy and using it to refine their lives.
Polishing those skills, getting even more aligned with their purpose.
Exactly. It's like if a Virgo were a musical instrument.
Oh, I like this analogy.
March is the time they would meticulously tune each string, making sure every note is perfect.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But it also suggests there might be some moments of, well, dissonance as they go through this fine-tuning process.
You're right. Venus retrograde especially can bring up those old patterns and unresolved issues.
Also in relationships.
It's a chance to look back before moving forward, you know? Learn from past experiences.
Make conscious choices about the kinds of connections they want going forward.
Exactly.
So how can Virgos make the most of this Venus retrograde time? The article mentions trusting their intuition.
Virgos are great at analyzing and planning, but sometimes they can overthink things.
Get stuck in their heads a bit.
Exactly. During this retrograde, it's important for them to listen to their heart as much as their head.
So balance that logical mind with gut feelings and emotional awareness.
Yes. And they don't have to go through this alone.
Right. Lean on those supportive friends and family.
Especially those Taurus, Capricorn, Cancer, and Scorpio folks.
They can provide a listening ear and support during this time.
Exactly. Now, moving into mid-March, the energy shifts a bit.
In what way?
The sun moves into Pisces on March 11th, shining a light on Virgo's 7th house of partnerships.
So if early March was about inner reflection, mid-March is more about those one-on-one connections and maybe collaborations.
That's it. This is a time for Virgos to nurture those existing relationships and maybe even explore new ones.
And how does Mercury and Pisces play into all of this?
With both the sun and Mercury in Pisces, communication becomes even more crucial.
Especially for Virgos, who aren't always the most expressive.
Right. But this Pisces energy can help them soften a little bit. Tap into that intuitive side.
It's like a cosmic nudge to open up and connect on a deeper level.
Exactly. So mid-March is a good time for strengthening bonds, deepening connections, and maybe even resolving lingering issues.
That Venus retrograde might have brought up. But let's not forget that Venus retrograde is still happening.
The article really emphasizes setting clear boundaries during this time.
Both in relationships and finances makes sense.
It's easy to overgive or overspend when those lines are blurred.
Oh yeah, Virgos are so generous.
But it's important for them to prioritize their own needs too.
Okay, so practicality and self-care are key in mid-March. Now what about the end of the month?
Late March brings a big shift as the sun enters Aries on March 20th.
Bringing the focus back to that 8th house.
That's right. The house of intimacy, transformation, shared resources.
So are we revisiting those themes again? I have to admit the 8th house sounds a bit mysterious.
It can be, but it's also a place of incredible growth.
With the sun in Aries, Virgos might feel a surge of energy and a desire to take charge.
It's a time for asserting needs, pursuing passions, and embracing their personal power.
So it's very different from that introspective energy of early and mid-March.
Like they're coming out of their cocoon, ready to take on the world.
Love that image.
And with the new moon in Aries on March 29th, it's like a cosmic reset button.
Oh wow, fresh start.
It's a time for setting intentions, starting new projects, and taking action toward those goals.
Okay, so late March is all about action initiative, embracing that Aries energy. What about Venus retrograde though?
By this point, Virgos have had time to process those retrograde lessons.
We're coming out of March stronger, more confident, ready to shine.
Exactly. Now, let's tie this back to the idea of March as a fine-tuning month.
Yeah. How does that concept fit into everything we've talked about?
It really captures the essence of March for Virgos. They're using all these planetary influences to refine their inner and outer worlds.
So it's about using those experiences to become more aligned with their best selves.
They're clearing out old patterns, beliefs, relationships that no longer serve them.
And by the end of March, they're coming out with a renewed sense of purpose.
A clearer vision for the future.
I love how this article frames March as a period of preparation and refinement.
Absolutely. And remember, all this astrological energy is simply influence.
Virgos still have the power to choose how they respond and create the life they desire. Wow, that was a lot. We covered so much ground.
We did. Virgos, you're known for being meticulous, analytical, and incredibly reliable.
And we've seen how those traits aren't just quirks.
They're strengths. They help you shine in so many areas.
It's about using that analytical energy for problem solving.
Creating efficient systems, bringing precision to everything you do.
Like the ultimate life hackers. And in relationships, authenticity is key, right?
Absolutely. Clear communication and a shared desire for growth.
We talked about those compatible signs, Taurus, Capricorn.
Cancer and Scorpio too. But even those trickier pairings,
Like Gemini and Sagittarius.
they can actually be chances to grow and see things from a new perspective.
Exactly. Now March 2025.
A month of fine-tuning for Virgos, refining those inner and outer worlds.
Early March is all about introspection, thanks to Venus retrograde.
Especially in matters of the heart.
Reevaluating relationships, clarifying those values, trusting your intuition.
Then mid-March shifts the focus to partnerships with the Sun and Mercury both in Pisces.
Nurturing those bonds, exploring new connections.
But remembering those boundaries.
Right. And late March.
The Sun enters Aries, bringing energy to that 8th house.
Transformation, shared resources, all that good stuff.
It's a time to step into your power, Virgos.
Embrace those passions.
And with that new moon in Aries,
On March 29th.
it's a beautiful opportunity for new beginnings.
Setting intentions and taking action.
So Virgos, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Here's something to think about.
how can you use your amazing strength
That meticulous nature, that attention to detail.
to create the life you truly want?
Whether it's breaking down a big goal into smaller steps,
Or bringing more awareness to your daily routines
it's about using that Virgo magic.
to manifest your dreams,
You have all the tools you need.
to build a life that's fulfilling and meaningful.
So go out there, Virgos.
Embrace your strength.
Make this spring a season of growth, transformation, and radiant self-expression.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Virgo.
We'll catch you next time.